Hello everybody. So I decided to go on another walk here with Mo. Philip's sleeping and Raph's on a Zoom call with some NCC alums. So guess look for that video soon on his channel. But I finally wanted to go over, or I guess finish my series on my background because it's been a long time and I haven't finished it yet. So I'm going to stop rambling here at the beginning and get going on them. I ended on my junior year, at the end of my junior year when I qualified for nationals and then was heading into my senior year. So the reason I'm actually doing all this is because I know it's probably boring to a lot of people and, maybe even boring to myself, but it's honestly a lot of fun to reminisce. We have a lot of time right now. We just got an extra 30 days of social distancing and, for me, it's really healthy and really soul soothing, I guess, to kind of go through the memories that made me who I am today and made me want to coach. So my senior year, I'm actually going to go through mostly cross country because I'm in track. I guess I'll kind of fast forward just a little bit. In track, I had a great season and a great year, I guess, senior year, but I made a decision to switch to some minimal shoes, and unfortunately that was not a decision that was talked about with me and my coaches, so I kind of screwed myself over in that sense, I guess. I ended up hurting my Achilles, and I finished my senior year not in the way that I wanted to, but I finished my senior year on crutches and in a boot. I actually made the decision with my coaches to continue racing because I was not going to take a season of eligibility. I really wanted to kind of get started on my life, and even though I had a season of eligibility to take, I made the decision to start coaching instead, and teaching. And so that was something that was a personal decision for me to make, but it did in effect end my senior year on not exactly the note that I wanted to end on. I still raced all those last chance meets, which was a lot of fun. Was about 20 seconds away from qualifying for nationals. But, that's life. And I guess right now it's a lot of life. A lot of seasons got ended. And so I'm fortunate enough that I was able to compete my senior year, even though I was injured. I would do it all over again. If it was my junior year, probably not. But my senior year, you do what you do. And it's a lot of fun to look back at the pictures of me on crutches and in a boot. And then 5 minutes later, I know the next picture I see is me racing and on the line for the steeplechase, for the 5K, for the 1500. It was ironic. I remember my friend coming up to me saying, "Whoa, you're on crutches and in a boot and you're racing and you still beat me?" And I was like, yeah. So that was a lot of fun. But let's go back to cross country. So I'm going to highlight 4 races in my cross country season from my senior year of college that kind of stood out to me for various reasons. So the first race I wanted to highlight is a race at St. James Farm. And what was special about my senior year team that year was that we didn't have a front runner. We had 3 front runners, and so we had a really big bang up front with 1, 2, 3. And at any given day, any of us could have been the front runner. And on this particular day, it was at St. James Farm in Wheaton. This actually was a place that when I was in high school was a personal property, and so it was not allowed to be run in. But didn't mean we never ran there. But it wasn't allowed to be run in. And then in the time that I had been at college, it had actually gotten sold as a park district property, or as I guess it's a forest preserve property. And it was now actually my college's home course, my high school's home course, and it was right directly next to my high school. So my high school coach, Coach Harvey, actually got to come and watch me race this race. And it was a lot of fun because having kind of, I guess, a culmination to my senior year of my high school coach coming and watching me race and taking pictures, cheering me along was just really special to me. And I remember he has this picture of us coming down in a decline, not a hill, I live in Illinois, coming down a decline at St. James. And I really wanted to pull all 3 of my teammates with me. And so it was myself, Krista, and Kayla. And I have my arm out, kind of high-fiving. I think it was Kayla. And, as coming down this decline, I'm smiling. And, we're all kind of running together, just the 3 of us. And it was a really cool picture. And just kind of reminded me, why I run. I enjoy it. I enjoyed racing. I enjoyed running. I enjoyed being with my teammates and pulling them along. And just that group of girls that year was really special to me, that we had 3 front runners. And any day, if we had a bad day, we pulled each other along. If we had a good day, we pulled each other along. And we weren't really concerned about who was going to come in first, as long as all 3 of us could do a 1, 2, 3 punch. And that was really good for us. So it's the first race I wanted to highlight. The second race I wanted to highlight was actually the conference race. And the conference race my senior year was actually my slowest race of all year, because about halfway through the race, we actually kind of shut it down a little bit. And so we started the race. We had one goal, was to win the conference race. Low. And we decided to get out with the top girls. And all 3 of us, again, we had a 1, 2, 3 punch. We knew we had a really strong 4 and 5 and a pretty strong 6 and 7 that could close us out really well. And so we all got out with the top girls and then eventually broke away from the pack. And Chris and I at that point were the farthest away from the pack, and that our coach actually told us, Coach Brian was like, hey, you can shut it down now. You don't have to, waste all your energy on this race. We can wait till next week at regionals and we'll hammer it then. And so we kind of just cruised in, and it was a lot of fun to be in that good of shape my senior year. I was in the best shape of my life. I actually was able to win the conference race, and that was a really special moment that I had, I didn't think coming in freshman year they'd be like, yeah, I'd be winning the CCIW conference. Like, what? And it was really special. My teammate Krista came in second right behind me, and we kind of decided that I would win. I was the senior, even though she was a junior and was graduating that year, but we had to decide between 2 of us in the last mile of the race, like, hey, who's gonna win, by the way? And so it was just really special to be able to finish that race, and literally we both hugged. We turned around and waited for our teammates to come in. Kayla came in 4th place. Actually, a high school teammate of mine, Elise, came in 3rd place. And, our 4th and 5th runner closed us out really well, really strong. And our 6th and 7th closed us out really strong. And we ended up winning that year. And it was really special because we had 3 teams in that conference that were incredibly strong, that anyone could have won, and all 3 teams could have been going to nationals that year. And yeah, I think 2 of them actually did, I believe. So, so that was a lot of fun, just being able to be in that race and race it. So I'm actually going to link that race below, or link the video to that race below, because there does exist out there. And I think I actually speak after the race, and I have better put together thoughts on that day about team. And so it was really special. So watch that if you get a chance. The 3rd race I want to highlight is actually the regional race. This race was my favorite race of all 4 years of college, probably all 8 years of running. This race, I just felt like I could fly. I felt like I was in the best shape of my life, and it was the best race of my life. I actually put everything I'd ever learned together. I had listened to my coaches. I decided to, just get out really fast and really strong. I stuck with the top 5 girls. My goal was to be in the top 5. I actually ended up 7th. My teammate ended up 5th, and my other teammate was, I think Kayla actually had a bad race that race and was like in the 30s. We ended up qualifying for nationals out of that race. It was my run on my favorite course, which is at Augustana College and in Rock Island. And I absolutely love that course. It's flat, it's fast. The spectators around there can just run everywhere and cheer you on, and the team can cheer you on. And I think it was really special to have my entire team there that day, and just kind of seeing their faces on the course and seeing them just, running around with signs and with everything. And it was a really cool experience. So the 4th and final race I want to highlight of my senior year was the national race. This race was actually my fastest time overall, but it was probably my worst race all year, which shows the type of fitness that, Mahesh trained us for. He trained us, no matter if we had a good or bad race, to be at our best at that race. And that's why, you gotta trust where your coach has you. You gotta trust the training. And I did trust the training, but what I didn't trust was the race itself. The race started off actually with a false start. So we started, it was like, cross-country races usually doesn't happen, you don't get called back in cross-country races that often. So it actually happened with both the men's and the women's race at D3 Nationals that year. Both races got called back within the first 100 meters because people fell. I don't know. I actually got a really good start the first time. And I was really excited. I was like, yes, I'm in a good position. And then the race got called back and I let it get to me. I was so frustrated. I didn't do anything that I talked about. I didn't control my emotions. I didn't control my mental. And I got back and I was like, I can't believe this. This is like ridiculous. Like, why is it? And I just got so tense. And my coach was like, you got to calm down. Like, you can't race like this. And, you know, I trusted my training, but I didn't trust my mental there, and I just let it get to me. So I started out the second time. I was really tense, didn't get as good of a start, and I kind of got back. I fell off my teammate, which she had been my rock all year. It was kind of like Chris and I, and then Kayla would always come up with us, and either of us, we'd all finished in the first position all year, but like, you just kind of have that, who you should be with. And I wasn't where I was supposed to be. And I wasn't with anybody I had been with at regionals. And I was literally, my mental was failing. And it was just like, you can't do this. You can't get back to where you are. And my teammate came up to me. Kayla came up to me and was like, no, you gotta come with me now. You gotta go, like, do it for the team. Like, you can do this. You're the strongest person here. You have to do this. And it was without a doubt, if I had not had her there, I would not have done what I did that day. And Kayla pulled me along. She decided to, let her race be helpful for me. And as a teammate, that's what you got to do. You got to focus on the team. And if I had not had her, we would not have finished 16th in the nation, which we did. Now, and not individually, our team finished 16th in the nation. I finished 58th. Kayla was 57th. Krista was around 45th, I think. So none of us were All-American, which actually all three of us kind of wanted to be, but all three of us had the race of our lives. I PR'd by, I think, only 5 seconds. If I had not been so tense, I probably would have PR'd by more, but I still PR'd. It was not my best race, but my teammate pulled me through. And to culminate a cross-country season with a teammate pulling you through a better team race than anything, I guess I'd rather have that than have run alone the whole race and, had a great individual race, but my team, just didn't have it that day. It was so much more special to have a picture of Kayla and I from that race, just racing literally stride for stride together. Our legs are like the exact same, and she was pulling me through. Every like minute, she'd be like, come on, you got to do this. 10 quick steps. You can do this. You can do this. And I did it. So just kind of trust your team. When someone else has a down day, be their rock for them. When someone else has a day that they're struggling, lift them up. And I try to do that for my girls all the time when I'm running with them and when I'm training with them. I try to, be that person who can, kind of bring them along when I know they're having a rough day or anything like that. But so those are the 4 races I wanted to highlight. I guess the last part of my senior year is just say kind of what I go back to what I did at the beginning is, so I was talking about my end of the senior year in track, but I think what I wanted to highlight about that is that I knew I was done. I knew it was time for me to move on and be the coach for someone else that my coaches had been for me. My coaches all throughout the years. I mean, Coach Rob Harvey, Greta Havey, Craig Lawrence, Chris Kuntz, and then coming to college, Mahesh Narayanan, Brian Hens, Carrie Cluckhone, and, just all my coaches there and people I forgot to mention, they were my rock for me. They literally changed my life, and I would not be who I am today without them. I still talk to them every day, like just email, text, or Twitter, or anything like that, and they're still my rock. They're still the reason I am who I am today, and the reason I coach. And I still call them Michael Fontana from high school. He's another coach. I knew I forgot someone. I call him all the time, asking him, recommendations of my athletes and for advice and just for life. And, so my next part of my series is going to be me actually talking about coaching. It's going to probably look a little bit different from these, not just chatting like this, but it's probably going to look like, kind of walking you through what I do in my own practices, what I've learned from my coaches, and more specifics on actual coaching. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this series so far and my background, and maybe it can help you. If you have any other questions, please contact me. tweet at me, do something, find me. And I hope you guys enjoy this. Have a wonderful day, everybody.